Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with a good old video. Thanks to the people over at WrestlingDVDnews.com. They've put out a list of DVD Blu-ray concepts for the upcoming 2016 season to put out. They're trying to gauge interest from fans to see what they'd be willing to buy. WWE has put out a good number of DVDs and Blu-rays over the last few years. Honestly, I was really looking for the Ultimate Warrior on DVD. Normally, I'm real big on using the Amazon and the Amazon Prime. This last time was the first time that they had done me wrong. I had put a pre-order in for the Ultimate Warrior Blu-ray. I wanted to get the documentary. I wanted to watch it. I wanted to see the 30 minutes of additional footage that they were adding on from the WWE Network release of the Warrior documentary from last year, right after WrestleMania, right after his death. And for some reason, Tuesday morning, I went to go leave for work, and it hadn't been dropped off yet. Normally they're dropped off before I leave for work, and I went into my orders and I couldn't find it. And then I went through my emails. Amazon had deleted my order, and they said that it was deleted due to the customer saying they didn't want it. I never said I didn't want it. I don't know what the mistake was, but I didn't get the Ultimate Warrior release on the day that it came out. So I decided that I can sort of push back and I can sort of wait on it. Those documentaries are something that I want to have the first day that they come out. There's something that I'm still interested in collecting, and there's something that I want to see it the day that it comes out, or I'm going to sit here, I'm going to wait on them. The 3-disc sets, like the Chris Jericho one that was just released, I do want to own that one. I'm just going to wait till I can get a little bit of a better price on there. Right now it's selling for about $22 on Blu-ray. I'm hoping that sooner than later, WWE Shop is going to do one of their buy one, get one free DVD Blu-ray sales, and I'll be waiting to pick that up sometime around there. But these concept DVDs, a lot of them are really good. Some of them are, some of them aren't really what I think they're going to be, and some of these there's no way in the world they're ever going to get released. First one on the list is something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. Hulk Hogan Immortal. This to me, honestly, is going to be a documentary about Hulk Hogan. If you go back to, I believe, 2002, maybe it was 2003, WWE was just getting their feet underneath them, trying to figure out what they were going to be doing with these documentaries that they were going to be making. The Hulk Hogan release is borderline sticking in kayfabe, and then sometimes wanting to not go without it. The DVD documentary releases that have been coming out over the last few years, basically they just cut the shit and they just tell the stories close to 100% of the way that it really happened in real life. Every once in a while, if there's a fact that WWE is going to want to change in order to make them look better, they will. But Hulk still rules. It's good for what it is, but it needs to be updated. They focus so much on some things, and then there's the big things that happen in Hulk's career that they just sort of like say, this is what happened, and then they just move on to the next thing just because they weren't used to being it. I would love to see Hulk Hogan Immortal have like at least a 2-hour documentary on the man. This guy's done so much in professional wrestling and becoming a hero to so many people like me. This is a definite must own. The next release up there is Divas. This is going to be about the women's division in WWE, touching on all of the girls that have come through there, from the Fabulous Moolah, Sunny, Trish Stratus, Michelle McCool, Charlotte, that being the future of the Divas division from NXT right now. Honestly, they haven't done a Divas DVD in a long time. I know that there's all of those DVDs with Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson, Divas Do New York. They were coming out with one of those every year, and I'm sure they were big sellers for WWE. And somewhere around that they were trying to get to the PG sort of feel, they decided that they weren't going to be having their girls dressed up in bikinis selling DVDs anymore, because it didn't give off the right image. They wanted the girls to actually get inside of the ring and actually wrestle. I think that it would be good to have a DVD to cover the whole Divas division, but I'm not going to say it's going to make or break, or I'm going to be waiting in line to make sure that I'm going to pick this one up. I don't own any of the Divas DVDs that WWE has ever put out. I've always sort of looked at them as like spank bank material, and I've always just sort of passed on them. From there, we go to the greatest rivalries. Tommy Dreamer versus Raven. I honestly already have this comp. It doesn't come with sort of a documentary of them going over the series, and that's hopefully what I would hope they would be doing. Tommy Dreamer versus Raven is one of the biggest feuds of ECW, and I know the ECW DVDs as well as WCW DVDs have always really sold. And if they're able to have a sit-down discussion with Joey Styles, talking about everything that they've done as sort of highlighted in here, I think that it would be really good. I think that the WWE rivalries, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart DVD, honestly was very good. And I know that at one point they were thinking of doing a Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. I think they need to do a lot of these sit-down discussions with two wrestlers talking about their feuds and showing the matches. Those DVDs would always work out really good. And I would love to see what WWE could do to fix up the quality of the doc that or not the doc, but the comp that I already have going over this feud. Like I said, WCW and ECW, almost everything that WWE has released has gone to gold. They have a ECW Volume 3 DVD coming out sooner than later, and I'm sure the sales on that is going to be strong, and that might continue to give them a little bit of a push there. They have a DVD on Lex Luger, highlighting everything that he's done in his lifetime, from playing in the CFL and the USFL, being one of the most popular wrestlers of the 80s and the 90s. I'm not 100% sure that this is going to be a big boom. Lex Luger to me is almost like the Randy Orton of today. He was a big guy. I'm sure that he had his fans, and I'm sure that he was popular. But I always looked at Lex Luger, no matter if he was a babyface, no matter if he was a heel, he always seemed to have the same sort of a match, and he never really had my appeal. I will tell you that honestly, Red, White, and Blue, Lex Luger, SummerSlam 1993, I fell for it. I marked out like crazy when Luger knocked Yokozuna out of the ring, and he was the first guy to beat Yokozuna, even though it was via countout. I will admit that it did take me maybe about a minute before I figured out that he didn't win the championship because I was just so wrapped up in somebody finally beating him. But, you know, I think that WWE owes Lex Luger a little thing to help out his life. You know, when Miss Elizabeth died, you know, Lex Luger had a little bit of bad blood, and the WWE Confidential series really threw Lex Luger under the bus. And I don't know if this is something that's going to sort of make these two guys come together. I know that Lex Luger appeared at the Hall of Fame. I believe it was WrestleMania 27. He wasn't one of the Hall of Famers, but he was something to go in. But, you know, definitely keep your eye on this. If this is a DVD that's going to be released, you know, before WrestleMania season starts heating up, maybe Lex Luger is somebody that they're thinking about being up there for the Hall of Fame. If you think about the Macho Man DVD, if you think about the Ultimate Warrior DVD, if you think about the Goldberg DVD, these DVDs always all come out around the time to try and see if there's interest in trying to get these guys into the Hall of Fame or trying to get them put over the top to be Hall of Famers. From there we go to an Eric Bischoff DVD. Honestly, I don't know about that. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be one of the best. I know that there was a greatest rivalries of Eric Bischoff versus Vince McMahon that was mentioned. If they had the two guys sit down and actually talk it out, I think I would really be looking forward to something like that. Like if they have some sort of, I know they have the wrestlers roundtables where those guys all talk about the business and everything that was going down. But if you just had the dark room, Vince and Eric, and they actually talk about the Monday Night Wars and maybe openly sort of debate it, what went down and the low blows that went from each sides, and talk about their feelings about what was going down, I think I would really like that. From there we go to an Oh My God ECW top 50 craziest moments. That's definitely going to sell. That definitely needs to get made. The WWE one was really good. The WCW one was borderline funny, and sometimes made you want to cry about how dumb WCW was sometimes. But ECW, they'd be able to put a good documentary together for that one. Then we have the best of 1996. I honestly think this is a DVD that's not going to get made. It just sounds like it's a weird period to start at. I know that they tried to do the Monday Night Raw, the early years, where they covered year 1 and year 2, and for some reason they stopped that and decided that they weren't going to keep going with that sort of series. I don't know, 1996 was a big year for wrestling. A lot of things went down from WrestleMania 12, the NWO taking over WCW, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock making his debut at the Survivor Series. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird and kind of hokey. Maybe they're able to repackage it with a different name. But as of right now, the best of 1996, it kind of seems like it's a little outdated to be putting something like that together. The one-man show with Stone Cold Steve Austin, live on stage sort of show, maybe sort of like the Jim Ross show would be. Anything with Stone Cold Steve Austin's name's going to sell. They've already sort of came out with that end of his career documentary, but they really haven't come out with a unreleased Stone Cold Steve Austin set of matches, showing house show matches and things like that. So I'm surprised they haven't gone to the well for that one. A Roman Reigns documentary. I know that they're really closing up the gap. The next one coming out is going to be Daniel Bryan. That sort of leaves you looking at the roster of who's the next person that's on the roster who needs to get a documentary release highlighting their career. Roman Reigns, honestly, to me, it seems like it's a little bit early in his career. We've already got a disc set of Shield matches that just came out just a few months ago. Roman Reigns has only been wrestling as a single since early last year, so he's only got 1 year of singles under his belt. It kind of seems like it's a little bit too early. The Dudley Boys biography, I've watched their shoot interview from our video. That was a really, really good one, but just to me, honestly, it seems like it's a little weird for WWE to be coming out with something to feature them when they were never really the number one guys inside of the company. But they did wrestle for ECW. They did wrestle for WWE, so they do have a good chunk of matches that they can be putting up there. True Story of Tributes for the Troops. I already love this one. I have the first DVD that they came out with showing, I believe it's the first year and the second year. Anything that they're able to come up with that, it sort of seems like something that they would do for the WWE Network. But anyway, I can get it, I'll take it. They have a Booker T back added to the DVD section. They had sort of filmed his special that they ended up scrapping from being a DVD, and they ended up putting it on WWE 24, something that they really haven't gone to the well for. They showed the special that was about WrestleMania 30, and then they showed a Booker T one, and a lot like the WWE rivalries, they haven't really gone to the well and try and fix that show up. But Booker T is a guy that I honestly could see something coming out of it. Sheamus Experience honestly seems like something that they would do on WWE 24. JBL, How to Become a Self-Made Millionaire, honestly seems like something for the WWE Network, something that doesn't need to be seen. And then Bruno Sammartino. This honestly seems like a way outdated. I didn't even want a DVD about 1996. Honestly, in my mind, I know I said this when he went into the WWE Hall of Fame for WrestleMania 29, but I don't think anybody who is a Bruno Sammartino fan is going to be running to Target or Walmart to pick up a DVD off the shelf. A lot of DVDs that are bought by wrestling fans. I can see maybe them trying to think that somebody might pick this up off the shelf because they were a wrestling fan back in the day and they want to see more Bruno Sammartino. But I honestly don't think the sales are going to be there, and this will probably be one of the worst selling DVDs that they've ever made and put out for production. He's a legend. He has his place in the business, but it was 30 years ago at the least, and I just don't see anybody going and picking this DVD up. But as you can see, I'm pumped. I'm fired up. Plans for the 2016 WWE DVD releases, they look pretty good. Wrestling DVD News, the source of your story. Make sure you go on over and check that out, and maybe we'll see a few of these on our DVD shelf sooner than later.